What's good, family? It's your man the YB back once again. So, your man's Tyson, Fury, and Derek Delboy Chisora have weighed in, and it's quite interesting. Now, you man know my opinion. I think Chisora shouldn't be in this fight. He's too old, too slow, and no gas tank. He's been gassing out in his fights recently after 2-3 rounds. Even when he wins fights against Pulev, he was blowing after 3 rounds and looking hopeless. It's only because he was in there with a 50-year-old dude called Kurbrat Oldlev, that he was able to kind of get away with it. It's a battle of who's the oldest. Yeah, who's going to fall apart first. 100%. Whose arthritis is going to kick in before the other one. Anyway, the reason I mention that to start off with when it comes to this weigh-in is because guess what? Derek Chisora has weighed in a career heaviest. You can see here, the Pulev fight, he was 258. He's just weighed in 260. For the second Parker fight, he was 248. 12 pound. That's 5% of your body weight. And we're talking about elite athletes here. Chisora, when he fought Parker the first time, was 250. When he fought Usyk, he was 255. So to be fair, he has fought at 260 before, actually. He fought David Price at 260. And smoked on David Price. So listen, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Is he thinking, I need to be big and strong because Fury's big and strong? Scarily enough, Fury weighed in 268 and Fury's 6'9". I do get the feeling sometimes some of these smaller heavyweights in terms of height, they make the false equivalency of, Fury's big and whatever else. You know what Fury's like. He's always going on, Deontay Wilder, 270 pounds, inside fighting us, yeah? And because of that, they get jitty. I mean, look at Wilder. Wilder completely lost his head. Fury going on about, Deontay Wilder, yeah? Fury going on like that. Guess what? Wilder lost his head, lost his game, and came in looking like a weight pumper, didn't he? Wilder went from 209 pounds to 235. He pumped on a whole bunch of weight, and he didn't do him no good. He ended up running out of gas after 4 rounds. But that seems to be the effect Fury has. People see Fury and think, I best put weight on, but do your thing. And I'm sorry, but the reason that's relevant to this fight is, you man know, even before he weighed in a career heaviest, yeah, I'm jitty. He already didn't have no gas against Parker at 250. Now, anyone who's done any training, yeah, take my word for it if you haven't. 10 pounds is 5 kilo. You put a 5 kilo weight on your back and tell me if you can dance. Tell me if you have more energy or less energy. Especially when you're fighting and you're making explosive movements. I'm not sure, I'm not a physicist yet, but as when it comes to momentum, the more weight you have, the more obviously it makes you slower, but it also takes more energy to do any particular movement. And we know Chisora likes to be explosive. So now you've got a 5 kilo weight on your back and you're trying to be explosive. That means gas tank is going to be going real quick. That means speed is going to be going real quick. That means cardio gone real quick. And he's older. It's just like, it's all bad. He was gassed at 250. Now he's got a 5 kilo weight on his back. And he's going there with Tyson Fury, who's taller than Parker. So yeah, this is all wrong. It's good for me. I'm betting, I ain't gonna lie to no one. I'm betting that Fury knocks this guy out. I'm betting that Fury puts him down at least once. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Fury's going to end up punching a hole through this dude. I'm going to be honest with you. I can see Tyson Fury genuinely leaving a hole straight through Derek Chisora. Because guess what? Parker, Morecambe Joe. Come on now. Morecambe Joe ain't, you know what I mean? Morecambe Joe ain't no Tyson Fury. How many people here think Morecambe Joe would put Wilder down? Exactly. How many people here think Morecambe Joe would put Dillian White down? Exactly nobody. Yeah, Parker did put Dillian White down, but it wasn't like Fury put him down. Fury's also, the scary thing is, Fury's been getting better. Let's be real here. Fury's been getting better and has been punching harder. That's a fact, in my opinion. So, when you put it all together, I can't see a way. And Fury's telling you he's rock hard for this. he's got a boner for Chisora. Fury has something to prove. The second fight, it kind of went the distance. Yes, it was a stoppage, but it wasn't, if you get what I mean. Fury now, the fact he mentioned about his KO ratio, that means something to him. All fighters are egotistical, but Fury has told you, listen, I got a 3 KO streak. Let's be real here. If Tyson Fury's got a 3 KO streak against two Wilder fights and a Dillian Whyte fight, who here thinks that he's going to want to drop that KO streak on Derek Chisora, a man that Parker put down 4 times? Fury will finish his dinner. Because if he could finish Wilder twice, you best believe he's going to finish Chisora. I can see it happening in 1-6 as well, truthfully. I really do. I don't think I'll be shocked if Chisora makes it out of 6 rounds. But, in all fairness, what do we know? Fury, I do have to say, Fury has showed some signs in that Dillian Whyte fight. Is he a bit scared to engage after the Wilder fight? I don't know. But the difference is, to be fair, going into that Dillian Whyte fight, the whole vibe was weird. You didn't hear Fury saying, I've got 7 weeks of nut to bust on Dillian Whyte with. It was all kind of friendly, wasn't it? So it's almost like Fury was taken out of his game. However, for this fight, all we've heard is, I'm getting a knockout, he's getting it. Before Dillian Whyte fight, I guess it was the whole Kinahan thing, but I don't remember him actually saying, Dillian Whyte, you're getting it. In all fairness, he ended up getting it, but it was a different vibe. The way Fury set about Wilder twice was completely different to how he fought Dillian Whyte. Against Dillian Whyte, he was happy to kind of procrastinate and play with his food. On this one, he's saying he's going to punch a hole through Chisora, so I believe it. If Chisora can survive the distance, fair play to him. But yeah, I don't see any controversy here. Chisora, Joseph Parker was stood in front of Chisora for 24 rounds, and Chisora couldn't put him down. If you can't put Joe Parker down, if you can't stop Joe Parker, if you can't beat Joe Parker, you ain't beating Tyson Fury. It's as simple as that. Oh, but boxing triangles. I don't care about no boxing triangles. I see Fury punching a hole through this dude. The only way it goes left is if there's some sort of scam. You know what I'm saying? If there's some bookie scam going on. That's the only way. The only way it goes 12 rounds is if there's some sort of bookie scam trying to bump the YB, which I gotta be honest with you. There are scams, like I told you before. Zach Parker and his fake broken hand, that was a scam. The bookies said, oh, what's that YB? You got some coins on Zach Parker, making distance, boom, bumped. You know them ones there? Goofy having ass dudes, scamming having ass dudes. So yeah, I'll give you man the play-by-play. Now, moving on. By the way, Tyson Fury weighed in, more or less a career standard for him, 268. Big, strong bull. That's the kind of weight Fury got. 268 against Chisora, 264 against Dillian Whyte. He was 277 against Deontay Wilder. And 273 against Deontay Wilder. So he's actually come down a bit. And I like that. I think 277 is a bit too much. Now, I'm not a fan of what that dude was doing. What's his name? Ben Davidson had Tyson Fury like 250, trying to be a whatever else. No, Tyson Fury should be natural. I don't think he needs to bulk. I don't think he needs to be whatever. I think 268 is bang on the money. I think Chisora's too heavy, and I think Fury's bang on. Now, let's talk about this other one before I go, because I've got some bets on. I've got Fury to win by KO, and I've got Dubois to win by KO. Now, it's been quite controversial because Dubois is fighting a dude called Kevin Lerena. I'm going to be honest. I just messaged... I forgot the guy's name now. I just messaged... what's the guy's name from BT Sports? I just messaged Dev Sani. I just messaged Dev Cheese and Onion Sani and asked him, is there PED testing for this fight for Dubois versus Lerena? Because Lerena looks juiced out of his barnet. Yeah? And here's the evidence for it. If you didn't see the pictures. He looks completely juiced. And fair enough, some people just look big and buff here, but what I don't understand is my man Lerena was weighing in 198 pounds just a year ago, literally. Where is it? Yeah, here we are, look. In 2020, he was 199 pounds, fighting at cruiserweight. a year later, it's 18 months later, he's weighing in 231 pounds. Now, to be fair, it could be the case, I guess, that his cutting weight, so he might be fighting at cruiserweight at 210 and cutting 10 pounds. But even so, if you're cutting 10 pounds from 210 to 199, how do you then put on another 20 pounds? These guys are already working out. They're already athletic. 20 pounds of mass is like, what? That's mad. Then again, actually, thinking about it, look at, I guess you could say Usyk. Usyk went from fighting at cruiserweight. He now weighs in 224. So yeah, in a way, actually, maybe it's just, maybe you're really lean, and yeah, so maybe I'm barking at the wrong tree. I assume there is testing, but he did look super buff. But yeah, I think Dubois is going to punch a hole through this guy, Lerena. And I'm hoping, Lerena's got a bit of a South African clout, but it does have to be said, Lerena had some good bars. Lerena said, listen, I get paid the same money to fight in South Africa as I do to fight Dubois. I want this fight. So that has got me a little bit jitty, because one of the key things in boxing is, when it comes to stoppages, is does the guy want to be there? If a guy wants to be, a man who wants to be there, yeah, a man who feels he's got something to prove, they're hard guys to stop. A man who really wants it is hard to be stopped. That said, Dubois fought Trevor Bryan. He wanted it, or did he want it? I don't know if he wanted it. But as far as the mouthpiece has gone, Lerena is pretty convincing. However, Dubois is too big, he's too strong, and Lerena's too stiff, and he's not naturally a big heavyweight, and he's not naturally a big puncher. Lerena went 12 rounds with Mariusz Wach here, and couldn't put him down and couldn't stop him, and Mariusz Wach was backing him up at certain points. If Mariusz Wach can back you up, Daniel Dubois will punch a hole right through you, in my opinion. And the thing about Dubois is, it's not about a lucky punch. Dubois, he's got a good chin. He's got good whiskers. He's taking shots off Joe Joyce all night. He's taking shots off many people all night. So I don't know what Lerena's on, but the fact Lerena couldn't mosh Wach, that worries me. Well, that tells me he ain't a heavy puncher. Even at cruiserweight, he wasn't a big puncher. His KO ratio is like 50% against bums. When AJ was coming up against bums, his KO ratio was 100%. So this guy, he's not known for power. He's coming up a weight division, and that to me sounds like food for Dubois. Now, there is a potentially tricky element. It is a southpaw. But southpaws, what do we know? The straight right hand. That is Dubois' shot. Dubois can hook, but he's happy to put the right hand straight right through your chops. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, listen, I'll be lying if I told you Dubois can't hook. But trust me, his favourite thing to do is put his big burly right hand right through some next Don's chops. And because of the height differential, big tall fighters like Dubois, that's their favourite. They love fighting little midgets with no head movement. Mike Tyson was a nightmare for even Mike Tyson though. With them good big dudes, they punch a hole through him. But when you got them small dudes with no head movement, it's a wrap. A tall dude with heavy hands against a small dude with no head movement and who's quite stiff. Lerena's got a good guard, but that's his defence, his guard. And you can't have a guard defence against Dubois, because he will punch through you. The only defence you can have against Dubois is like Joe Joyce. A1 chin, and Joe Joyce was on his P's and Q's. Joe Joyce wasn't just standing there on the ropes covered up. That's what Lerena will do, or has done in the past. And Dubois will punch a hole through this guy, in my opinion. Right through him. Too big, too strong. Especially now as well, Dubois is only learning, and he's with Shane McGuigan. I like Shane, fundamentally. So, it's been another 6 months. I mean, he just knocked out Bryan in a few rounds. This, for me, seemed like a similar kind of challenge. Bryan wasn't a big puncher. Bryan was actually more battle-tested as well. Bryan's been in there with real A-side guys. Mariusz Wach, I mean, this guy, Kevin Lerena, went and fought no one. He's fought all the D-level guys. At least, what's his name, has got at least Trevor Bryan had stoppage wins over people like Bermain Stavern and whoever else. Anyway, it's going to be interesting. I'm betting on Dubois KO win. I'm betting on Fury KO win. And that's what it is. 100%. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button. Subscribe. and let off the bell, no doubt about it.